Welcome to a brief introduction of Indonesia's modern history, starting with the beginning of the 17th century. At the start of the 17th century, a collection of Islamic states ruled the islands of modern Indonesia. Additionally, new European traders discovered the islands to possess extremely valuable spices, including nutmeg and cloves. Following the return of a single-ship expedition, the Dutch government created the Dutch East India Company, or VOC, in 1602, granting the group a monopoly over the potentially lucrative spice trade with Indonesia. Soon, the company began governing the area. Starting in 1603, the VOC began to establish trading posts in Java, a main Indonesian island. In 1619, the company conquered and established its new headquarters on what became modern Jakarta. By this time, the major indigenous powers of Java and the surrounding islands had been destroyed, and their lands incorporated into Dutch holdings. Due to a series of conflicts, including the brutal Java War, pictured here, lasting from 1825 to 1830, the Dutch government was in a fiscal crisis. To alleviate this problem, the Dutch government introduced the cultivation system to the islands. This system forced natives to grow cash crops, including rubber and indigo, for export. The policy earned large profits for the Dutch administration, while resulting in poverty and famine for many natives. The Dutch eventually expanded their territory beyond the island of Java, controlling nearly all of modern Indonesia by 1920. The Dutch ruled all of Indonesia until 1942, when the Japanese invaded and occupied the islands. Under the leadership of Sukarno, Indonesia declared independence on August 17, 1945, just 2 days after the Japanese surrender in World War II. The Dutch and the British opposed this move, and fighting between native and Western forces occurred until 1949. In 1949, pressure from the UN and the US forced the Dutch to withdraw. Though founded as a parliamentary democracy, Indonesia quickly slipped into authoritarian rule. In 1959, Sukarno rewrote the constitution to gain more power. In 1965, a failed coup was blamed on the Indonesian Communist Party, or the PKI. Subsequently, the Indonesian army under General Suharto destroyed the PKI in an extremely bloody campaign, which killed an estimated 300,000 people. Following the purge, Suharto was the supreme power in Indonesia. In 1967, he assumed formal control of the country from Sukarno. Suharto ruled for the next 32 years, eventually bringing about a larger amount of economic growth. However, his power was weakened by the economic devastation of the East Asian financial crisis. Popular protests and declining military support led to Suharto's resigning from power in 1998. Since 1999, Indonesia has been ruled by a democratically elected president and legislature. To learn more about the history of Indonesia, continue through this section of the course.